Welcome to Williams Mullen's COVID-19 Comeback Plan video series. My name is Amish Patel, and I'm an attorney in the Williams Mullen corporate practice here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about how you can leverage economic development incentives to help your business cope with COVID-19. I want to start off by talking a little bit about the purpose of economic development incentives. That's essentially to expand the state and local tax base. State and local governments do this by one of three ways. So you can either create or bring in new jobs to the state. You can retain jobs that may be at risk of loss, whether it's offshore or to another state within the country. And lastly, they incentivize businesses to make capital expenditures in the state by developing real estate, by building out property, and making public utility improvements. So the state has a number of tools that they use for economic development incentives. And I'm going to be talking to you all about these in two different buckets. So the first bucket is the tools that the state has had prior to COVID-19. And then the second bucket, I'll be talking about some new programs that the North Carolina General Assembly enacted to help businesses cope with COVID-19. So in the first bucket, your traditional tools, the primary one is the JDIG, which stands for the Job Development Incentive Investment Grant Program. And this is a program managed by the Department of Commerce that provides outright cash grants to businesses for meeting minimum headcount requirements. So if you've got a project where you're going to be hiring X number of employees within the state, this is a program that can provide you some public dollars to help do that. The next program is the One North Carolina Fund. So unlike the JDIG, the One North Carolina Fund requires any funds that have been awarded to businesses to be used for project capital costs. So this can be anything from installing or purchasing capital equipment, making improvements or constructing making repairs to real estate or constructing a new building, or it can be improving upon public utility lines or laying down new sewer, water, electricity lines as well. So keep that in mind. There's also various number of other smaller programs out there. For example, many cities and counties have their own economic development programs. For example, to kind of flesh that point out a little bit more, the One North Carolina Fund requires city and local match, so keep that in mind. There's also at the state level, there's the Building Reuse Grant Program, the Transportation Grant Program, and the Public Utility Grant Program. All of these have their own criteria for businesses, and these may be coupled with one of many of the other programs that I talked about earlier. So next, we're going to be talking about some new legislation which was passed by the North Carolina General Assembly. And this is HB 1023, House Bill 1023. So this bill created the COVID-19 Job Retention Program. And what was the bill or this program uses federal dollars that have been awarded to the state of North Carolina under the Federal CARES Act, roughly $15 million, to allow the Department of Commerce to make awards, cash grants to qualifying businesses. So what are the qualifications? We'll jump through those real quick. First and foremost, the business must have employed at least 90% of its FTEs that it had on February 28th, 2020, so prior to the pandemic. The next qualification is that they must have experienced at least a 10% drop in sales from the same period as last year. And then the last qualification is that the business must not have participated in the PPP program, the Rapid Recovery Loan Program, or the Main Street Lending Program. If these qualifications are met, businesses can be awarded up to 2 months of their monthly payroll costs. with a max cash grant of $250,000. In order to qualify, you have to apply with the North Carolina Department of Commerce. There is a deadline, which is September 1st of this year. So that kind of talks about the COVID-19 job retention program. I imagine there may be other programs that the State General Assembly is going to be looking at as we go through and progress through the year. We'll be happy to keep you updated on those new programs that may come about. That concludes the topic here. I want to thank you for your time. Please be sure to visit williamsmullen.com for more ideas and best practices. In the coming weeks, we will be posting a variety of resources to help your business cope with COVID-19. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And once again, thank you for your time.